Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're putting the Steam Deck and the Ally head to head in a gaming showdown. We're switching power from 10 watts all the way to 25 watts, toggling resolutions between 720p and 1080p. Stay tuned to see how these changes affect performance, temperature, and battery life. Let's dive right in. Now, let's compare the Steam Deck and the Ally, both running at 15 watts on the medium settings. Starting with the Steam Deck, we see in demanding city areas the frame rate hovers around 32 FPS, and in less crowded areas it pushes up to 40 FPS. In the field, we observe a similar trend with 43 FPS in harder zones and a bump up to 50 FPS in easier zones. The deck handles our water and special effects town scenario with an average of 41 FPS. All this while maintaining a temperature of around 84 degrees and providing a battery life of an hour and 40 minutes. Switching over to the Ally, it performs slightly better in city areas, delivering 37 FPS in demanding zones and going up to 45 FPS in less crowded zones. In the open fields, we see a slight dip with 37 FPS in harder zones, but a rise up to 53 FPS in the easier zones. Our water and SFX town is handled at around 36 FPS. The Ally manages to stay cooler at 68 degrees with a similar battery life of 1 hour and 40 minutes. Now let's look at how the Ally performs at medium settings in 1080p resolution against the Steam Deck at 720p. The Ally experiences a dip at higher resolutions. In city areas, it averages around 31 FPS in demanding zones and 35 FPS in easier zones. In the field, we see it drop to 29 FPS in the harder areas, but rise to 38 FPS in the less demanding zones. In our water town, it manages around 28 FPS. However, the Ally manages to stay cool at 67 degrees Celsius, and it offers a marginally better battery life of 1 hour and 42 minutes. Let's go through the Steam Deck's results real quick. 37 FPS in hard city areas and 40 FPS in easier ones. In the open field, we see a similar pattern with 43 FPS in demanding zones and 50 FPS in easier zones. The deck tackles the small town scenario at 41 FPS with a consistent temperature of around 84 degrees Celsius and a battery life of 1 hour and 40 minutes. Let's shift gears and look at both devices operating at 10 watts on medium settings. The Steam Deck delivers a solid performance, hitting 20 FPS in harder city areas and 34 FPS in less crowded zones. The deck performs well in open fields too, achieving 39 FPS in demanding zones and 45 FPS in less demanding areas. In our water and SFX town, it maintains an average of 39 FPS and keeps a temperature of 76 degrees Celsius, while offering a battery life of 2 hours and 23 minutes. On the contrary, the Ally struggles a bit at these settings. It manages only 16 FPS in hard city areas and 21 FPS in easier zones. In the field, it goes up to 20 FPS in demanding zones and 23 FPS in easier ones. In our water and SFX town scenario, it delivers around 20 FPS. However, the Ally stays cool at 60 degrees Celsius and provides a battery life of 2 hours and 20 minutes. Now let's increase the power from 15 watts to 25 watts on the Ally and compare it against the Steam Deck at 15 watts. The Ally sees a significant boost at 25 watts. In city areas, it delivers 45 FPS in demanding zones and a whopping 65 FPS in less crowded zones. In the field, it hits 40 FPS in hard areas and a staggering 75 FPS in easier ones. Our little town scenario sees a slight improvement to 38 FPS. However, temperatures rise to 90 degrees Celsius and battery life drops down to 52 minutes. The Steam Deck maintains consistent performance across the board, with FPS in city areas and fields staying within the 37 to 50 FPS range, and our small town scenario handled at 41 FPS. The temperatures remain stable at around 84 degrees Celsius, and the battery life is still at 1 hour and 40 minutes. Finally, let's see how both devices fare when we increase the resolution from 720p to 1080p on the Ally, with the Steam Deck at 15 watts and the Ally at 25 watts. The Ally, now at 25 watts and 1080p, sees a bit of a dip. In city areas, it hits 35 FPS in harder zones and only 34 FPS in easier zones. In the field, it dips to 31 FPS in hard areas, but surprisingly shoots up to 56 FPS in less demanding zones. Our water and special effects town scenario manages around 31 FPS. The Ally stays slightly warmer at 89 degrees Celsius and offers a shorter battery life of just 53 minutes. As a refresh, here are the Steam Deck results at 15 watts 720p medium settings. It achieves 37 FPS in hard city areas and 52 FPS in easier ones. In the open field, the device maintains a frame rate of between 43 to 50 FPS. The water town is handled at 41 FPS, with the temperature staying around 84 degrees Celsius and the battery life at 1 hour and 40 minutes. And that wraps up our head-to-head comparison of the Steam Deck and the Ally. Remember, we're here to help you make informed decisions about your gaming gear. So if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss out on future content. We've got more in-depth reviews, comparisons, gaming tips and tricks coming your way. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching and see you guys next time.